He'll be invincible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously, how is this even a question?
Row.
Row. Yes, thank you.
Row, fight the power.
Yeah, that's the only unit that's not in V that I miss from like the Zeta series. Super Robot was then, because he's like Garland Legard's in it from like 2 onwards. Yeah, it's just such a fun, silly unit. And they do cup. There's also a crab in Final Fantasy XIV you can get called the Kamino crab, and it's a hermit crab, and it really likes spiral shells, and it just keeps beating up other crabs and sealing their shells, trying for a bigger and bigger one every time. That's its description.
No crab is safe, even if they have a smaller shell. It really wants that shell anyway.
It just keeps upgrading, like beating up other stuff to get larger and larger shells, because that's basically what Kamino did throughout current again, until his unfortunate end, which they do really well in that, which is nice. I'll be interested to see. They haven't, we're still sort of like at this really nervous moment, where they haven't announced any new Super Robot Wars titles, and you're just kind of thinking they probably just don't have anything ready to show off. They probably decided they're gonna launch for the next generation. I'm really hoping. I want to see some Gundam Reconquista in G. I really want to see some of that in, because that has some of my favorite mobile suit designs. But there've been so many more series that have been made since then. It would just be nice to see some of those get made and get thrown in.
I was honestly unfamiliar with the fact that that Gundam Reconquista exists, and that is combining incredibly well with my historical knowledge of that period.
Well, you see, Gundam Reconquista in G is, and that's its full name, is it's a title, and it's notable because the original creator of Gundam actually came back and wrote it, Tomino, and it is it's not the best series, and it's certainly not the best series he's ever made. Oh man, it is still a really good. The animation is top notch, the fights are top notch, the music is just absolutely beautiful, and the setting and the message and everything behind it is great. The only problem is it only goes for 25 episodes, and it just it's one of those ones where if you just sit down and watch it once, you'll get a series out of it, but you might not get everything out of it. And if you don't really connect or gel with any of the characters or what's going on, it's a hard ask to do it again.
Well, not even just that. Is it one of those? Is it one? Because if he did the original Gundam, I'm also going to presume that it's kind of a situation where, excuse me, he also ended up. Words are hard sometimes. Putting so many small things into it that if you just sit down and watch it, you're not going to necessarily get everything because you miss a bunch of shit.
Stuff.
Yeah, you mean from Gundam knowledge? You mean from other events?
Or even just in the middle of the series, the original Gundam had a lot of implicit things going on between the Gundam pilots that you would not really notice. Oh, hey, this is the start of this plot point or that plot point. 6 or 7 episodes before it ever actually became a thing.
It's a lot more compact, and it's a bit less of that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I really like it.
I mean, that was basically. I recently got the itch to complete a couple of the other TV series that I've been watching for a while, Westworld being one, and then I've needed something while I'm working to just take my mind off things. So I've been rewatching Transformers Prime, and Prime also does a lot of that, where it's just
eat your heart.
Somebody dodging. They dodging.
Somebody dodging.
They dodging. He ducked.
Duck and Maximilian. We are not amused.
We are not amused.
Such a frilly neck.
There we go.
I like it.
But yeah,
Oh, it's tie.
particularly in the second.
I've got
season.
Imka on the field.
Oh, good.
I want to see if I need to be able to hit both of them. So.
You also need to see if you can get some malnutrition going. No, not so much.
So what were you
even
saying,
time
Kuka?
for
Particularly in the second season, there's just a lot of subtle stuff going on in Prime that I never noticed before.
Yeah, Ty the
And
Immortal is a tank
when
driver
I-
in this game.
When I noticed this stuff, I got curious. So I went to TF Wiki because that is like seriously one of the best wikis ever in terms of writing that line.
Certainly one of the funniest wikis you could read.
Right? They ride that line between really funny, really informative, and not taking themselves too damn seriously because they understand that their obsession is, at the end of the day, existing to sell toys. And they were just like, yeah, no, and by the way, in addition to the thing you just noticed here, there's also some shit going on in Season 1 that even further foreshadows this. And I'm like, you're serious. And I went back and looked at it, and from the looks of things, Prime is unique in that Hasbro actually had, like, this 400-page production Bible that gave them all sorts of hard information on all of these random details, and it's never been released in terms of the aligned continuity, because they're still doing stuff like that with Robots in Disguise, which is way worse. Not a huge fan of it, but they're still doing stuff with the aligned continuity as of this time. But yeah, it was just like, holy crap! All of this is happening. They put this much effort into a frickin' Transformers cartoon. It kind of blew my mind away.
Yeah. Well, there's less of that in Reconquista.
Oh my god.
Reconquista is like, you'll often hear the word "comfy" used when to describe things these days. And that,
God,
like, you
fuck
can just
off!
sorta, like, it's a somewhat intimate journey for the characters and everything like. I mean, like, okay, he ducked, but
It
you still
wasn't
killed
exactly
two
the
dudes.
dude that you were aiming at.
No, I would have killed them both. That's the point. That's why I raged.
I want
so
to kill
angry that I
everybody
only
on the
killed one
planet,
guy.
says anime World War II Hitler.
Oh, what an asshole.
This is escalating.
Fuck. Get the fuck back here. You're not done. Hey, my way, hopefully. Yeah, my way. My way is you all die. Come the fuck back here. Here, I got a better idea. Right there. That's where to shoot. There we
Bill
go.
H.
I like my suppositories like I like my news.
I am not going to ask you to complete that thought. That is a scary fucking thought.
Yeah.
There was no completion. That's just what it was.
Oh, man.
Why is it always like 1 for 1? Like every fucking time I find something new, I meet new people and they duck.
I would have really appreciated it if Amy got double action there and the dude ducked both times. I just imagine you would have completely melted down and just exploded into treats for us.
You are a testament to Solomon Gomorrah.
All I can say is I'm glad I'm not doing this. I mean, I probably wouldn't have had the patience to play Anime World War II for even 5 minutes, let alone, however many weeks we've been doing this.
I'm the kind of person when things like that happen, I just live with it.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with Loon about that at one point, and he said the entire reason he can't live with it is because if he's going to continue doing A ranks and so forth, these things have to hit. And if they don't hit, well, you're just not going to get your S or A rank or whatever. That's just
also,
the reality of the
killing the
situation.
aces and getting their guns, and also if they dodge, they shoot back, and if I don't dodge, then, well, for one, I have to run into interception fire, so I'm going to be probably hurting anyway. And then if my person dies, the person with the good gun, well, I guess I'm just might as well restart because everybody else who might be backup, if like all my ace weapon holders die, well, I'm basically fucked. I'm just gonna restart then.
Blimlin, yes, he can.
I can. It's just I want to do it now because that's the point.
And also ask yourself this question: how compelling would it be to watch a stream of somebody replaying the same mission over and over, waiting for RNG to not screw with them?
That's what I say all the time, and also just because we need to get through these missions quick, so we make it in the time that we have to spend on it, and so we're always on topic and always have something new to laugh at.
This is one of those situations where I might laugh at what Loon's doing, but I completely understand why he's doing it.
I only yell so much just because I'm mentally, like I said before, I mentally coil about these things. Like like in my gut, I know that when I take this shot, that guy is going to duck. By the way, Welkin just killed Gregor, so that owns.
Yeah. Yep. But unlike Welkin, we actually managed to stop a whole bunch of Doctons getting burned alive, so there you go.
Oh, damn, that's rude. That is a saucy comment.
They kind of had the means to not.
That's actually bullshit too. Okay, so the way I interpret the Squad 7 thing, so Eleanor Verrat is in charge of the whole regiment. She leads like that squad and a bunch of others. So the whole militia, or at least the one under Verrat, went to Falzon. So they had ample manpower to have prevented that in the first place. Meanwhile, the Nameless, a squad of no less than about 20 people, managed to do like more than that. So I think that's a little bit of an interesting concept.
Dude, Lydia is stone cold.
Yeah, well, he was working all the Darksons to death, so I guess it's like, I can understand why none of them really mind.
How being ultra wise here, apparently.
He says that like it's some sort of.
It's true.
Yeah, he's saying this like it's some sort of deep truth, but it's not. If you can't call incompetence when you see it, how are you going to call incompetence in yourself? You're just not being honest. It's like objectively not true, Dahao.
Well, no.
Well, you can't. No. Listen, you can't defame a superior officer.
Yeah, whatever. That isn't what he just said.
Well, I mean, that's the point. They knew Gregor's plan was bullshit. They knew he was a fucking idiot, and he was clinging to his honor and traditions, and it didn't work. But you're not allowed to call it out because that'd be defaming a superior.
Yeah, whatever.
That's basically the point. Also, Gregor was a racist, so fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, it was also in its own way kind of like a backhanded remark to Lydia because that's what she's been doing all this time, is like not properly sort of judging herself. Like the previous like losses have been in part thanks to her distrust of Gusarg. And so she's accidentally hobbled the entirety of them. So in that sort of a way...
I hear barking.
Yeah, it's my dog.
It's not me.
Oh. My microphone was
Darks and tragedy.
She was like the other end of the house.
It's got Imka on the picture.
Yeah, no, Chip is right here chilling with me. He is very quiet.
It was definitely my dog. I could hear him.
Booga 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 booga.
Oh, so now we're gonna be talking about like all the shitty things that happened.
They burned the concentration labor camps to the ground.
Yeah. And a horrible time was had by all. It's I bet there are like people out there on the internet and like who are like, man, I wish we could side with the Empire. They seem like the coolest guys. Like I hold them with the same contempt that are people who like side with Xeon in the Gundam series. And also
Dogs
who,
can
like,
survive in Australia.
side-
Wow.
Who that's always fun. Ain't you ever heard of a dingo, huh?
Yeah, seriously,
Woodland?
that was what I was thinking.
You
Seriously,
fucking-
like
You
dingoes
didn't live in a
are
box all this time, huh? How about you leave your baby out? We'll see how you understand about dogs. Leave your baby sitting out in the street.
One of these is not like the other.
No, dingoes are legitimate like genetic cousins of dogs. Humans can tame them
breed with dogs.
fairly
In fact,
easily.
there's actually very few. There are very few purebred dingoes anymore because they can in fact breed with dogs.
Right.
So there, and in fact, the dingo stole my baby, the Chamberlain thing. That actually did happen. They were actually able to determine that the dingo, it was like a crossbreed from I think it was like some dogs that were just basically just like let free to run off rather than put down. Like they.
We always have to insert Warhammer 40k in the chat.
Yeah, anybody who sympathizes
Oh
with
boy,
Jean,
encounter again with Gooserg.
you can put yourself in a colony and gas yourself because that's what Jean would do. And anybody who and anybody who like empathizes with the Garlean Empire in Final Fantasy XIV, dunk your head seriously. Like anybody who says like these three are like totally relatable gigantic evil empires, I will put a bag on your head and like hit you with a wiffle bat because fuck you.
How about the Gestalian Empire? Let's hear your hot take there.
The Gestalian Empire. Who are they again?
That's Final Fantasy VI. Emperor Gestal and Kefka.
Oh yeah, like anybody who's
that's even more black and white. Seriously, Emperor Gestal is a gigantic cock.
Like, oh hey, here's the lady with the baby. Fuck you, lady. Baby's mine now. He literally shanks a woman to steal the child.
He does.
Like that's what's so funny about it. Like he literally kills a woman so he can take the baby.
And then when all of his other plans fail, he defaces the entire planet so he can have a couple of statues, which he then loses to an insane clown.
Like what the problem is, I think, is there's a lot of time they show you reasonable people in these empires, like oh god, what's his name in this one? Desert Wolf guy.
The local equivalent of Erwin Rommel.
Yeah, skull arm.
Yeah,
they show you these characters, and so people immediately go, oh, well, you see, the Empire's not so bad. They've got guys like Jaeger. Thank you very much, Book Thief. They got guys like Jaeger. They can't be all bad. It's like Jaeger is the thing about his character is to show that he is trapped and unable to get out, and trying to construct for himself a measure of reasoning so that he can convince himself he's along the right path.
No, he's not.
He's
only with the Imperials because he wants his country back. He's not on their side at all. Like
that is
exactly.
entirely in keeping with what Robokai just said. Yes.
Okay.
Like these people aren't there because they think the Empire is good. Like, like there are some people who hey, look, they're like the thing about Gion is I like some of the characters too. But their actions and their activities in the Gundam, the 1 year war, and afterwards, you can't, it's like, I'd never side with them. I will take shitty, crappy space bureaucracy that, gets nothing done and acts like dickheads over the guys who fucking salute and go, see, on.
The dudes who do nothing are still better than the dudes who do really bad things 24/7 for no particular reason. That is the lesson of Xeon, basically.
Like the fucking main villain of Final Fantasy XIV's latest expansion is a guy who is basically they've shoved him off to the outlying outposts that you're fighting in, just because he's practically more monster than man, and he's also.
I really like having Layla as a commander because she always tells me I'm doing great.
He's also the son of the Emperor, so it's not like they could do anything about him. So they just shove him off to the Borderlands and hope that he can just ruin those places.
Borderlands? Where's Torg?
Wait, what?
Where's
Did
Torg?
you just make a Torg reference?
Yeah, you said Borderlands.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that one. That one was pretty good.
Oh, by the way, since the that new tuba increases the bullet count, the sniper rifle can fire 4 shots. That's kind of insane.
Hey, Tank.
I think insanity is being able to fire more bullets thanks to the power of music.
You know what? You can't really complain about that at all.
With the sound of music.
This is the sound
one of the funniest,
of silence.
One of the funnier moments we had when discussing this. One of the funnier moments we had when discussing this was Loon was talking to me, trying to figure out exactly how much the percentage increase was, and he gave me a couple of numbers, and I basically deduced that it was 35%, and he immediately called it bullshit. That he couldn't do something like throw the partial bullet at somebody.
Oh yeah, it's like that Patriot gun that the boss has in MGS3. It just like it doesn't even shoot bullets straight. It just like throws bullets at things. And I called it bullet ramming technology. Also, that had no reason to work.
The Patriot is the best fucking gun, if only from like the codec conversation you get when you like do a new game boss and you have the gun, and Sigurd's like, why is it able to fire like that? And it's like, oh, well, it's because the belt feeds an infinity symbol, and they're like, how does that doesn't work? It's like, no, it's an infinity symbol. It just works. So it's like, I hate you guys so much.
It works as well as Snake pointing to his bandana and saying infinite ammo in the.
I was just thinking of that.
MGS2.
Yeah, I love the like that it just. And this is one of those things I will always forever love Hideo Kojima for, is he does remember that in spite of everything, it's still a fucking video game. And he's still like okay, the plots are all crazy and big and silly and things like that.
Oh, there's no flag.
He remembers he's making a video game, and he spends more time and wastes more time and money on trying to make the most batshit crazy gameplay experience for the player.
Good thing I have 13 bullets in my clip instead of 10, because I can kill that guy now.
Womp womp.
Thank God for that extra shot.
It's extra 3. Honestly, he's not kidding. You needed 11 shots to kill that guy. Riella hit a breakpoint because of the power of music. How many other breakpoints would she hit if she could just throw the final bullet? The final partial bullet.
If only we could just teach them all to hum the tune to themselves.
Dude, I would... That would be incredible.
The music also makes the gun do more damage somehow, by the way.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. You know, and again, referencing Super Robot Wars, if you ever get Basara from Macross 7 in there, basically he is a guy flying like one of those transforming fighters, and he has but like his primary function is he sings and plays his electric guitar, and it just like boosts everybody.
I didn't save state for evasion, it just wasn't, I wasn't sure if it was going to actually hit both of them. I just had to make sure, because it might have just gone through him, which would have been bullshit.
He is the T-1000.
I was just like,
this
hold on, dude, just stay there, let me just line this shot up.
I don't know what that order
is.
is.
Awesome, I promise.
Cool. Just promise me. Yeah, well,
everybody wants more Super Robot Wars games translated.
Yeah, well, V, I think, was a success. I think V did pretty well, so I don't think you have to worry too much about that. If they are going to make more, I'd venture to guess we're going to see more translated. Because people wanted to play it, so they said, okay, here are 2 games released in English, one in really, like, badly broken English, and one in, like, really good English. And everyone was like, fucking hooray, and bought a lot of it, so... And it, so yeah, like they had to import it, but I think a lot of people bought it, so that should be good, or at least a lot more than would have been if just Japan had just only been the only one to get it.
A lot of the older developers are starting to get that with the advent of digital distribution, you can release Japanese games over in America with much less risk now. I mean, even the EDF guys, they sold, what was it? It was like over 100,000 copies of EDF 4.1. So they revealed that they're already working on EDF 5, and somebody immediately asked them, is it going to be available in English? And typically the response to that is an immediate hard no. Just like, no, we don't have any plans for it, blah, blah, blah. And then they walk that back later after the various fandoms mount heroic campaigns to have something happen. And they're just like, we're not ruling that out.
Jesus, that's the ace. Holy shit.
I mean, the immediate response was indeed just, yeah, we're not ruling that out. That sounds pretty cool.
You know what? Fuck this guy. He's dying.
Yeah. Actually, I would say in terms of like gameplay, yeah, the Super Robot Wars games, they don't majorly tweak how it works, but they do indeed like change things up from game to game. Like Super Robot Wars V. Like the game before it, like had a thing about earning like certain things to get parts and stuff like that. And also you could twin units together to do special attacks and stuff, and chain like movement through it and everything like that. So they removed elements from those ones in V, but in return they brought out a system where like you earned tactical points which could be used to be spent on stuff instead, which is similar. But at the same time, it could also be used to be spent on like character advancements and things like that as well. They also introduced like a different element of like
Fuck City
secret
over there.
stages.
Oh, Cedric, no.
Yeah, that's
snipers
fucked.
eat my ass.
That kind of looks like open fire city to me.
I only have 1 point. I haven't gotten to the last area yet, so.
All right, fair enough. Ooh. Yeah, okay,
Damn.
Cedric went down. I blinked and missed that.
But there are also like different like sometimes they go really weird and different with it. Like there's been like the Super Robot was on I think it was GameCube, or was it Nintendo 64? One of those two. Like I think it was GameCube. Really did it differently. Like units actually had areas of like influence, so you couldn't move units through one another, so you had to be real careful in that. But at the same time, there were like some units like Bragar, I think it's called. They could transform into like a regular sized car, so you could use it to like lightly sort of squeeze itself between like the giant areas of influences of big units, so you could get transformed back into Bragar, like the giant robot behind them, and like do more damage. It's kind of funny.
Honestly, I kind of feel like a lot of those games are suffering from the almost
this game had
opposite.
dismemberment because that guy's legs would have come right off. That'd been pretty sweet.
True story. I feel like a lot of those games are suffering from the opposite of some of their sister genres. Like,
I meant to point this out last time. Sorry, but Homer actually does have a personal affinity with Layla, even though he's a DLC character. So they actually put that in there. So like if he teamed up with Layla, that would be there's a little line of dialogue for it.
Neat.
Oh, that's cool.
And also Edie and Susie. What was I saying then? Oh right. So like if you go back through the Command and Conquer games, a lot of those in terms of the basic mechanics end up playing really very similarly. Even though there's been half a dozen CNC and CNC Red Alert games and all of that other stuff at this point, but all of these turn-based games where
Bonsai shot in the ass.
The focus is on smaller units. The way even Valkyria Chronicles is, the mechanics change so much game to game, and I can't help but think that makes it even more difficult for them to do anything with this genre, which is really strange to me. Everybody always talks about how risky these sorts of games are, and it's like, well, they wouldn't be risky if you would pay better attention to what fucking works.
Yeah. Like overall, like Super Robot Wars generally sticks to its basic formula ideas, but it's been constantly tweaking and advancing as time goes on. Like there's always something taken out and always something put in, but the basics of it are always there. Another thing that Super Robot Wars V does that hasn't been done for a long time, I don't think, if at all, is being able to cast spirits on your unit at any time. And spirits, basically, in Super Robot Wars games, for anyone who's kind of wanting to know, they're basically representations of your character's, like anime tropes, like, like the pilot gets really angry and hot-blooded, so he does more damage and stuff for a big attack, or things like that. So that like you can sort of cast these buffs, and some characters like have a spirit that they can cast on themselves. Some they can cast on themselves or everybody else. things like that. And so like, and typically you could only cast them in your own turn. So like some that would make you better at dodging, you would put on in the hope that your unit didn't get attacked. Whereas Super Robot Wars V just like lets you put it on like from the screen where it's like telling you so and so is attacking your unit. How do you want your unit to respond? And you can also cast spirits during it. So which kind of makes it a little easier, but they do try and balance that out a bit by making it so that you don't have your full complement of like special like SP like spirit points.
You know, it just occurred to me, like, why can't I use like this monkey wrench on their tanks and like break them or something? Because that'd be funny.
Logically, you could. Ostensibly, it's because they didn't think that interaction would be interesting.
It would be amusing, though.
I don't disagree with you. I think that sounds hysterical. Also, I do appreciate that Gooser decided to basically deck out his tank in silver and gold.
Well, see, here's a problem. This tank is also inferior to the last one he had, which could fire in a 360 arc. It doesn't do that now, which is cute.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah, your pilot,
I need Imca on this shit.
Your characters don't start with their full complement of points. You know, a lot of other Super Robot Wars games, you would have like if your character had 70 points, you'd start with 70 points and you'd burn that down through the course of the course of the fight. But in Super Robot Wars V, you start with I think you start with half, so you start with 35, and over the course of the turns you'd regenerate.
Don't even think of dodging.
Another 35 points. And so that's how they sort of limit you from being like too powerful with that.
How many tanks have we? How many of Gooser's tanks have we blown up? I think 3 by now. So
yeah,
I wonder where he keeps getting them down from. Victory was inevitable.
Lydia has like this giant load of tanks in the back of her dumb, ridiculous large tank.
Yeah, Clammy Raven has quite the motor pool.
Well, they do get around a bit, so you'd want to assume they had a lot of mechs.
I'm not being facetious. I'm being serious.
I know. I was adding on that. I was.
I'm leaving now. I didn't actually lose.
Why did you bring so few men?
Yeah, I remember how you were going on about that before. You know, I didn't actually lose. I'm just leaving now, so fuck you. I'm out. Gives a finger. Every time in these games. It never fails to amuse me, like, especially when we're in a group setting, is just like how the bad guy loses, but he's like, no, I didn't actually lose. This is nothing, so I'll be back later, so kiss my ass.
And he's apparently, you know, close enough to everybody else that he can shout. I mean, either talk or shout. I'm going to be charitable and say shout. So this cat has a wrecked tank.
He's standing on a hill.
Yeah, standing on a hill, something like that, shouting at Kurt. And none of his snipers ever get the idea of, you know, yo, this guy's going to be back. I know he was your homie, but he's been bugging us for like days, weeks, months now. Can't I just blow his damn head off right here and end this problem? Please?
Oh, we've got too much history. Oh, shit, this chapter.
Is it a short one? Because we're already pretty late, dude.
I don't remember. We'll see soon enough, though.
Let's,
man.
You'll see, you'll see.
Let's leave it for Thursday if it's going to be too long.
You gotta go to Ranbury's.
Awful night's sleep.
I know. You had a nightmare you posted in RimWorld, so...
Oh my god. It's like... I'm used to the idea of having nightmares. I've been having nightmares at least at the rate of at least one a month since I was a little boy. Like, 9, right? What I'm not used to is remembering it in such vivid detail or literally waking up shouting. Fuck, that was not okay.
RoboKai, you're gonna have a field day with this line.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Irony.
Yep, Kelly at headquarters must be full of idiots. That is 100% true.
He can properly show us how arrogant he is. Boy, I want to see the original Japanese for that line.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Gusto probably shouldn't have like run his mouth because it was all that they needed for Kurt to put two and two together.
Wow, we made it back to Rain Gears really fast.
Gusto probably shouldn't have like forgotten how.
Yeah, we'll end on this mission. This mission's fucking long.